the Doomsday Clock, representing how near humanity is to catastrophe, has moved closer to midnight than ever before.
Every year there's a meeting to assess the risk of global catastrophe and set the Doomsday Clock.
The Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, which set up the metaphorical clock at the start of the Cold War, moved its time to 85 seconds to midnight, after consultations with a board that includes 8 Nobel laureates.
It is now 85 seconds to midnight. This is the closest the world has ever been to midnight. It is the determination of the Bulletin's Science and Security Board that humanity has not made sufficient progress on the existential risks that endanger us all. We thus move the clock forward. Every second counts, and we are running out of time. It is a hard truth, but this is our reality.
In a statement, the Bulletin singled out Russia, China, and the US among countries that have failed to listen to earlier warnings. A year ago, we warned that the world was perilously close to global disaster and that any delay in reversing course increased the probability of catastrophe. Rather than heed this warning, Russia, China, and the United States and other major countries have instead become increasingly aggressive, adversarial, and nationalistic. Hard-won global understandings are collapsing, accelerating a winner-takes-it-all great power competition and undermining the international cooperation critical to reducing the risks of nuclear war, climate change, the misuse of biotechnology, the potential threat of artificial intelligence, and other apocalyptic dangers.
Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space. And we will have the best system ever built.
The board also highlighted that the first year of Donald Trump's second tenure as US president raised concern through such things as his immigration crackdown, the US policy on climate change, and losing the battle for information integrity.
By the way, this is ABC fake news.
We are living through an information Armageddon. That's brought about by the technology that rules our lives, from social media to generative AI. Climate negotiations fail, arms control fails, pandemic response fails, not because we lack solutions, but because we can no longer agree on the problems. The men who control the platforms that shape what billions believe have merged with the men who control governments and militaries. What happened in Venezuela? Greenland threatened, Minneapolis militarized, wars multiplying, not ending. This is what becomes possible when the battle for information integrity is lost. And while this happens, the clock keeps ticking. Nuclear arsenals grow while arms control collapses. Climate records shatter while the US wages war on renewable energy. The very cooperation we need to survive on AI, on pandemics, on the planet becomes impossible.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
The Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists was founded by Albert Einstein, Robert Oppenheimer, and other nuclear scientists at the University of Chicago. They initially placed the clock at 7 minutes to midnight in 1947, following the end of World War II, which saw nuclear bombs deployed for the first time in Japan, causing catastrophic devastation in Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
There is no denying that since that moment, the shadow of the atom bomb has been across all our lives.
The clock would not go below 7 minutes until the 1980s, which saw it decrease to 4 minutes in 1981 with the reheating of the Cold War via the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979, and the 1980 election of Ronald Reagan in the United States, which hardened the US's nuclear posture.
None of the 4 wars in my lifetime came about because we were too strong. It is weakness that invites adventurous adversaries to make mistaken judgments.
By the end of the Cold War in 1991, the clock moved further than it ever had from midnight, back to 17 minutes, with both the US and Russia beginning to make deep cuts to their nuclear arsenals.
Whether about issues on which we agreed or disagreed, the spirit of candor and openness, a desire not just to understand, but to build bridges, shone through.
This time, however, did not last. After the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks in the United States, the US government expressed increasing concerns about nuclear weapons falling into the hands of non-state actors, and so the clock moved forward to 7 minutes to midnight.
The people of the United States and our friends and allies will not live at the mercy of an outlaw regime that threatens the peace with weapons of mass murder.
North Korea launched another intercontinental ballistic missile.
People were told to take cover in basements or in concrete buildings.
Could this kind of missile now reach cities on the East Coast, possibly New York or D.C.?
By 2015, with the rise of North Korea as a global superpower and unchecked climate change amongst other factors, the clock had moved to 3 minutes to midnight.
И при угрозе территориальной целостности нашей страны, для защиты России и нашего народа, мы, безусловно, используем все имеющиеся в нашем распоряжении средства. Это не блеф.
By 2023, the clock had moved to 90 seconds, with the outbreak of the Russia-Ukraine war, only to steadily decrease to 85 seconds in 2026.
Imagine a room awash in gasoline. And there are two implacable enemies in that room. One of them has 9,000 matches. The other has 7,000 matches. Each of them is concerned about who's ahead, who's stronger.
With concerns of heightened risks of a nuclear arms race, with the New START nuclear arms reduction treaty between the United States and Russia set to expire, guarded hopes remain for promises of the pursuit of peace and cooperation between nations.
I think it's in every country's interest to reduce the number of nuclear weapons and ultimately eliminate them. In fact, President Trump has referred to the need to achieve global denuclearization. Not that he's taken any steps towards that end, but it's an objective that basically every country in the world has articulated, but their actions aren't currently reflecting that ambition. So we need to really put disarmament out there as an idea that needs to be pursued.
85 seconds to midnight. You know, the question now is not whether we can, the question is whether you will. What are you willing to sacrifice for the truth? Because the time to act is now.